recognize you clowns without the underwear on your head.
And good old country boy fullback, Lorenzo Neal.
Hey, diddle, Kittle down the middle.
Holy cow.
Oh, I'm bringing it, Kittle.
This is the Football Hour on 95.7 The Game.
Yes, it is. And I'm Sean Salisbury along with Lorenzo Neal here on the Football Hour. We'll be here till 7 o'clock Pacific time, and we got a lot to cover. Lorenzo Neal, welcome in, brother. I'm telling you, the weeks go faster. I hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. Hope it was fun spending time and sharing stories and memories with the family. And I know you like to throw down a good victual, brother. I know you do. So tell me, what'd you cook? Did you do the cooking?
Didn't do the cooking, Sean, but I did some serious eating. If it's Thanksgiving, we got a lot to be thankful for. I did some serious grubbing. Had the turkey, the ham, the sweet potatoes, the yams, you name it, I ate it.
Dude, I know that sweet potatoes, you killed them, didn't you? I know you'll kill a sweet potato, brother.
Oh, Sean, give me the yams.
Dude, I love sweet potatoes, man. Yeah, me too.
And Sean, people don't understand the difference between sweet potatoes and yams. They ain't really did no serious eating, Sean. You know me. We go way back, baby. I love the grub.
Yeah, if you don't know about a candied yam, then don't talk to me. I don't even want to hear it. And let me ask you one last thing about this Thanksgiving. I hope everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving as well and had good times with family members and friends and just good food and nice, good drink and all of it. Lo, are you a guy that has to separate the stuffing from the turkey, from the mac and cheese, from the candied yams? And are you it's a mosh pit, dude? Mashed potatoes and gravy. Mashed potatoes and gravy. That's me. All goes in the same spot.
Why are you asking me? You know it's a mosh pit, baby. I'm going to mix it and match it all together, brother, and it tastes good going down.
One of these days, I'm going to make you this jalapeno cream corn that we make at the house. And if you like cream corn and you like jalapenos, brother, you're going to stick it right next to those yams on that plate, I assure you.
Count me in.
All right, let's do it. Well, speaking of Thanksgiving, it's the gift that keeps on giving, and that's the 49ers defense. Pitch a shutout, 13-0 against the Saints team. You know what's crazy? Lo, I'm getting so spoiled. They only scored 13. They shut them out. This is the fourth straight second half they've pitched a shutout. They did some good things, and we'll talk about those. And the defense is mauling offenses everywhere. But they missed a few things. Elijah Mitchell now, 6 to 8 weeks, Lo, with the sprained MCL? Is that what it is, 6 to 8, I think? There's some things they got to get cleaned up because when you run into Miami, we know about, I'm talking about whether it's in the regular season or in the playoffs and you run into a Dallas Cowboys or Minnesota Vikings or Philadelphia Eagles, there's some things you can't miss. But I can tell you this right now, Lo, you can show me all the defenses in the league you want. This team is nasty on the defensive side of the ball. And they're not even fully loaded yet. You know what I mean?
No question. I can't wait till they get Armstead back. Armstead is going to be a big get back once you get that guy back. But no, they're not fully loaded. They played unbelievable up front. The goal line stance, the defensive stance were just unbelievable.
Lo, what was your biggest, taken away from that, what was your biggest gripe about the game? What bothered you the most? I know they only scored 13. Now, the Saints just loaded up on the front and tried to make you beat. Jimmy completed 70%. So just overall, either side, I don't know how we have any complaints on defense, to be honest with you, when you pitch a shutout. But what was your biggest, if you're going to gripe about something, since there's so much good to say, what concerned you about yesterday's game?
I just think sometimes defense, they bend, but they don't break, which is great. The bend part, you had some good sustainable drives by the Saints, and they just couldn't get in the end zone. You saw that, Sean, the turnovers on the goal line several times, and that's ball security. So when you look at it, the Niners caused that, but this game could have easily went the other way, in my opinion. They found a way to win. That's just one on defense. But the defense, they did what they needed to do, pitched the shutout, so you can't complain. But at the same sense, you got to say, my God, 3 times they're down there on the goal line, and they turn the ball over. That's carelessness with the Saints. But to me, the biggest takeaway, can this offensive line, Sean, protect? Can they protect in crucial times? If the running game, now you have Mitchell out and you see, and now you got another guy hurt. Both your running backs, your star running backs are hurt. To me, it's scary. I take away great win, Sean. Great win. I don't want to minimize it, but I'm scared. I don't know if the offensive line can hold up. If Jimmy's got to throw the ball 40 times or 50 times a game, I think this team is going to have a hard time winning.
Well, 13 points will not be enough. Lorenzo Neal, Sean Salisbury, 888-957-9570 if you want to join in. 13 points is not going to be enough against high-powered teams. Lo, you and I both know that, right? That we can agree on. Here's for me. Now, let me ask you, Lo, have you had the protection interior-wise over the course of this year, even though it's 3 new bodies, have you have a concern about that? The way they're at least keeping Jimmy's legs clean? Well, where's your biggest concern? Is it the physicality? Is it pressures? Because they gave up, 15? Low, though yesterday there was a lot of pressures in the game, if I'm not mistaken. I think I counted. There was at least a dozen of them that I saw. And that's the most we've seen. That's the most we've seen. And now I don't have those numbers in front of me. But the pressures end up being tip ball interceptions. They were fortunate they played the Saints offense yesterday and that their defense bailed them out and pitched a shutout. But I agree, yesterday did not look good. But can we does the offensive line deserve some credit for the way they've gelled a little bit this year, keeping people off Jimmy's legs?
Yeah. Yes, and Jimmy took a beating yesterday. And he showed me how tough he is. Jimmy's a tough kid, Sean. He took a beating. But I'm gonna ask you a question. Name me a winning team that they played. Name me a team that's over 500 that this team's played this year.
Gosh, I'd have to go through. I'd have to go through the schedule and see the records at the time they played them.
Kansas City.
That's
and you know
one.
what? Kansas City took them in the backyard. And if you look at who they
took them to the woodshed. Yep.
So when you look at the Saints, not that very good. Rams under 500. Look at the teams. Chicago. Think about the teams that the Niners have played. Arizona. Think about the teams that they played thus far this year. So, yes, I think that you only can play the teams that you play, and they've done well. I'm not trying to be a hater, Sean, but I'm being optimistic. And so me and you just going to be how we talk. We got to tell each other the truth. And it's scary because when you look at the remaining of their schedule, Tampa Bay doesn't scare me. I've seen enough of Tampa Bay. They're inconsistent offense. I
thought they'd start to pick it up low, and yesterday brought him back down. I thought they were a team that could make a run 4 or 5 in a row, right, because they're talented. Yesterday showed me Tampa's just another team this year, sadly enough.
No question. And they have no consistency at the running game. And the Niners, that's what to me is the Niners, if you can't necessarily be consistent running the ball, just because you got all these shiny weapons and they're unbelievable, you got to try to find a way to get the ball in these guys' hands, and Debo especially more at times. But what are you going to do now? I think you got to lean heavily on Debo, and Debo's got to go back to a mindset, to me, like last year. Any means necessarily. I'm going to run over people. I'm running to contact, because I'm telling you right now they're going to need him, because you got both your running backs down. Or are you going to be on a waiver wire trying to bring somebody in?
Yeah, how long? How severe did we hear anything locally there about McCaffrey? Do we know? Is it day to day?
It's day to day.
Day to day. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what it is. I don't even need to hear it is day to day. And Cam and Sterling are along well, also keeping us honest. I thought it was day to day, but still, it's an injury. And what's been his problem through his career? It's been the banged up, the nagging injuries for McCaffrey. Here's something that I'd like to discuss about this, Lo, and you're exactly right. 15 pressures is too much. Your depth, you go into a run game. When we think a week ago, we're thinking, oh man, an embarrassment of riches, and here we are now back to being concerned about how healthy will they be in that backfield. And now Debo is at a 25 touch, 15, 18, 25 touch game coming up. You know what, Lo? I've been saying this for 2 years now. It's not the hard throw that bothers me about Jimmy, because I like him. He's going to make hard throws. It's the common throw. Who was it that he missed for? Did he miss Ayuk yesterday for a touchdown in the end zone? I think it was Ayuk that he missed. He missed a wheel route. I remember a wheel route that he threw to McCaffrey on a wheel route. Wide open. Those are the things, and I've said it for 2 years, Lo, with you. I said it on any time I get a chance when people ask me, Sean, what are you concerned about Jimmy? I like his mechanics. The ball gets up and out quickly. He's gaining confidence. I think he's underappreciated. He wins. He may not have a rocket launcher arm, but when he throws on time to windows, you don't need to be able to throw it 70 yards. And in truth, you look at his numbers, 70%, high percentage yesterday, threw a touchdown, 222 yards. It kind of did right around where he hovers in that. But my thing isn't the plays he did make, Low. It's I can take you back to Kansas City Super Bowl. It was a couple of open throws, the easy throws that he missed that cost them from being the Super Bowl champion. Now, it's not just him, but you get my point.
No, I
so
get
I'm
you, Jeff.
never
Right.
worried about it. I don't know if it's a focus thing, if it's that's so easy, and you start to, how it is, Lo, when we get casual as opposed to relaxed. There's a difference, and especially at my position, the quarterback position, relaxed is we all want to be relaxed, like you're sitting back in the pocket smoking a friggin' cigarette. But you don't want to be casual. Casual means you lax on your mechanics. It's you lose a little bit of focus, and that edge is the difference in 3 more completions and 2 more touchdowns or 3 incompletions. He made some hard throws yesterday. A sack and flipping the ball and getting it away, and great control that way. I've been concerned for 2+ years now about when it's duress, and I know it was the Saints, and I trust Jimmy, I do. But you talk about a shootout with the offensive line. If you said, Sean, go through the checklist of pros and cons about Jimmy, my number one concern about Jimmy is when a guy is wide open, do you get casual and miss him? You can't miss the common throw. And he misses the common throw. He'll still make some uncommon plays. It's the common one. Now, listen, are we splitting hairs? Yes, but guess what it comes down to in a Super Bowl, Lo? Splitting hairs. It's exactly what it is. You know that, right? Thank you. Listen, the round the back, the Magic Johnson do that and do all that. That's great, and it makes the top 10 or the falling away Steph Curry. Somebody fouls you, and you knock down a 30-footer. It's exactly right. You put the ball on the deck, you get to the rim, and all you got to do is finish at the rim, and you miss. Right. Or the big fella who will get a rebound, and instead of going back up and a rim rattler tries to kiss it off the glass and misses and buzzer sounds, and you lose by 2. You get my point? That's Absolutely. What I want, the common layup. Just make me the layup. Or, dude, dunk that bitch and let's go, right? You see my point, Lo? Right.
Bring it home.
So,
Absolutely.
Right. Does that go through your mind with him like it does mine? And that's my number one con with him. Other than that, the pros and the cons. Jimmy, I like the other category. I think he's got a lot of things to love. I can't let him get casual on the common layup. I just can't.
You can't. And when he does, this team, it's a shift. How many times you see it, the game's on the line, a basketball game, guy goes to the free throw, and they get paid millions of dollars to make the free throw, and he misses the first one, and all of a sudden now he misses the second one. And you're like, what happened? Or you get in those situations, or you're like, oh, my God, just make the layup. You have a chance, boom, go up, make the layup, and now your team has momentum. When you do that in football, that layup in football, you change field position. You change it from a 1st down and 10, from being 1st and 10 to now 3rd and 10, 20 or 3rd and 10 because you didn't get it. Instead of being 2nd down and 3, now it's 2nd down and 10 because you missed the easy layup. And that's the thing that I love about Kittle. Kittle is a guy that you can't cover. And that's what makes me so sometimes disappointed in the Shanahan's offense. Not that because he's great play designer. I get that part of it.
I know what you're saying. The focus on George Moore.
Yes. I mean, look at Kansas City. I don't care what you say. You know that everybody and their mama wants to stop Travis Kelce, but they say you can't do it. They won't allow you to because they're going to move him. He's going to find a way to find a way. And it's not a mainstay. You have to make George Kittle a mainstay in this offense. The offense, Debo is great. But this offense, to me, when this offense is clicking and humming, George Kittle's one of the centerpieces.
There's no doubt. And listen, but look around. Look what Tua's doing with Tyreek Hill and with Waddle. They are making sure they're a center focus. Look what Derrick Henry. I know he's a running back, but they focus him. I mean, let him go to waste. And to me, 3 and 4 targets is not enough for Kittle. I think he's – listen, he doesn't get the credit Kelce does, but I've watched George Kittle dominate secondaries and linebackers at the back end on a regular basis. And, Lo, I want people to understand this when we talk about the common play. I'm going to stay in San Francisco with this, and you can think about it however you want. 2 of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history had very common arms. There wasn't anything explosive about Steve. Steve and I used to joke about it. I'll tell you a quick story about it. And Joe Montana, Joe didn't have a power. As a matter of fact, you look at Joe, you'd say, how's he doing? And the dude's never lost a Super Bowl, and until Brady came along, that's the gold standard, and still may be, because when Joe has the ball in the fourth quarter, the game was over in a playoff or Super Bowl. So, but you know what? You go to the local thing and say, Joe, let's go in a superstars competition. Armed contest. Steve and Joe weren't winning anything, but you know what they did? They made every common play. They hit the slant. They hit the shallow cross to John Taylor, the slant to Jerry Rice, the big play when it was there, a post over the top in a Super Bowl against the Chargers, the bootleg flat to Roger Craig or naked bootleg to Tom Rathman sneaking out late, right, the sneak route. They made common plays. Give you a case in point, Lo. I'm at BYU. Steve's a good buddy of mine. Yeah. And I'm at BYU, and we trained. This was my second year in the league. And Steve was living in Provo, right? And a couple of my teammates, Mark Bellini was a BYU receiver. He was living in Provo. A couple of them were going back to school. So I spent an off season in Provo, Utah. And Mark Bellini and I lived together, former BYU wide receiver and a teammate of mine in the league. And Steve was there, so we trained all the time. We'd go play basketball, and we'd go throw on the field. And so I'm 6'5", 230, Lo. And we're going out on the field throwing. We have receivers running right there at the BYU facility, right? So we get to the point where we're throwing like 20-yard comebacks. And 20-yard where the guy pushes up to 20, comes back down the stem, and it's a one-ball rip shot, right? 5 to 7-step drop, take one quick reset, and let it rip. And, dude, I'm telling you, I'm cranking up low, and I'm throwing like one of the nasty boys, my man Rob Dibble. I'm 105 mile an hour. I'm talking about 6 Russian cosmonauts and a micrometer. Now, I don't know what the hell that is, but it sounds explosive, right? I'm waiting a split second, but I'm ripping it. So if Steve's throwing it, and his feet are, Steve's accuracy and feet friggin' amazing, right?
Right.
And he's throwing it, and finally we're going through it. I say, Steve, when are you going to start ramping up the throw, meaning throw it harder? And you know what he did? He looked at me and goes, Sean, this is how Joe and I throw it. This is how I throw it. And it had a little bit of a it wasn't this. It had a little bit, not air, but it was just kind of it had a little bit of a speed bump to it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And the ball was never off target. You couldn't walk out there and hand it. Hence why he's in the Hall of Fame, and I'm still wondering why I'm not, I wish I could have been Steve Young. But I learned a valuable lesson that day, and the comeback became a great route for me, but also not with the arm strength, but how Steve was doing it. He said, Sean, I just thought, he goes, our ball's getting there at the same time. He goes, you're just throwing it later at 105 miles an hour. I'm throwing it earlier on time with a little bit of this and making it an easy catch, and the accuracy's there. He goes, you have to control your accuracy a little more. I'm just making it easy. And he was right. The ball never missed. The ball didn't hit the ground when he was throwing it. Case in point is Steve made a hard throw look very common because he threw it on time with accuracy. So you don't have to have that arm. Joe and Steve are two. If you're talking about two that, let's say they're both top 10 of all time. You want to? Let's just say that.
Yeah, I will.
If they're both in the top, best left-hander ever, and arguably, well, Joe's a Mount Rushmore, top 4 ever, for sure, top 2. So, and neither one of them, if you went to an arm-throwing contest to arm strength, they'd have finished near the bottom of the superstar list of Hall of Famers. Yet, when it comes to winning games and throwing accurately and making the common play, they didn't miss it. The friggin' ball didn't hit the ground. That's the one thing with Jimmy, that if Jimmy will elevate to making the common play low, we're looking at a whole different – I think the 49ers can win it all now. But there's some things they got to get dressed up if they're going to win it all. I still think, along with the Eagles, they are the favorite in the East. I mean, in the NFC. And, damn, wouldn't that be a matchup? And I can't wait to see them play Miami. It's Tua and that offense versus the 49ers and that defense, but there's still some things to dress up low for them to be okay. There's still another level to the game, I guess, is what I'm talking about, especially offensively.
Yeah, it really is, Sean. And I think when you're getting ready to play a Miami Dolphin team, so people are saying one of the cream of the crops in the AFC, not saying the best team, but you would say top 4 teams. You didn't fare very well against Kansas City, who might be the number 1 team or number 2 team.
Right.
Depends on how you're looking at it. But you're getting ready to play a team. I think you got to look at the Miami Dolphins and say top 3 or 4 teams in the AFC. Would you not agree? And if that's the case,
I think the Miami Dolphins right now they're in first place in the AFC East. I think you can make the argument that outside the Kansas City Chiefs, the way Tua is playing and the way Mike McDaniel's calling games, at least offensively, they're as good as they're the second or third best team in the AFC. There's no doubt in my mind.
And if that's the case, Sean, I want to see how the Niners hold up because me, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm looking at this game and it's in Miami, you look at where they're playing. You know, is they're playing at home, right? Playing in Levi's, or this is a home game.
They're playing at home against San Francisco. San Francisco's at home against Miami. Yes. Miami's going on the road. Miami's got a brutal schedule the next month.
They do, and here's the deal. I'm going to tell you right now, Sean, and I haven't even seen it. I guarantee the Miami Dolphins are going to be favored on the road. I don't, and I know you might think I'm crazy. I think when the line comes out tomorrow, we'll talk, and I guarantee the Miami Dolphins are going to be favored. It's going to be by 2 or 3. It's going to be. I really believe that I can see that happening because of looking at where the Niners are physically with injuries. Both your running backs are down. If you have now, you look at this team and you're talking about Miami's defense, and you're talking about I think that you're going to see Miami the Dolphins are favored by 2 or 3 points.
Well, Lo, our man Cam just let us know that right today that the San Francisco 49ers are 3.5 point favorites at home.
Wow.
3.5 point favorites at home. Yeah.
Wow.
They got.
I did not see that coming.
They get that 3 points. They get that 3 points for being the home team, but I think it comes down to they trust the 49ers defense a little more than they trust the Miami offense. Yet, listen to this: 49ers first in points per game allowed, first in yards per game allowed, first in rushing yards per game allowed, first in yards per rush, first in pass TDs allowed, and they're at the top of the league in scoring defense as well. They're the best, so they trust the veteran. I mean, the way the defense is run out a little more than they trust the Miami explosive create in space offense on the road. Lo, I thought it'd be closer. I didn't know it'd be the same unless it goes down. Maybe they're going to keep an eye on injuries, but right now the Niners are a 3.5 point favorite. The Dolphins are a dog. Traveling across country obviously matters, and I love the familiarity with this game. We'll talk more about that in our second 30 minutes about Mike McDaniel understanding what they're going to try to do to stop him and how he's got to get the ball to his people in space without letting Tua sit back there and get hit in the mouth. So this is, right now, maybe the game of the year when it talks about, what do they call it, irresistible force versus immovable object or something? Is that what we're talking about? So we're going to get the best of both, and I can't wait to do it. It's going to be fun. Cam's here. Lowe is here. Sterling's here. I'm Sean Salisbury. It's 95.7 The Game. It is the football hour. We got 30 more minutes to go. We'll take your calls, 888-957-9570. The Dolphins and the Niners, and this could be a preview of what? We'll discuss it next with Lo Neal and myself and you guys right here on 95.7 The Game. This segment is sponsored by the Department of Health Services. The Department of Health Services. Lo and I coming right back in just a few.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life or your choices with just one wrong pill. Find medically proven treatment options at choosemat.org.
Attention passengers, this is your pilot speaking. Looks like we're gonna have to land immediately. And hurry to the Xfinity Black Friday sale. Folks, we've got clear skies and lots of binge watching ahead. Stream your heart out when you get the ultimate streamer setup. We'll be cruising in so new Xfinity customers can get 400 megabit internet with unlimited data and Xfi Complete for just $55 a month for 2 years with no annual contract. And a free 4K streaming box included. Plus, for a limited time, get HBO Max included for 1 year. So, sit back and relax with internet made for streaming and access to classic favorites. Flight attendants, prepare for binge watching.
Drop everything and get to the Xfinity Black Friday sale now through December 5th. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Ad-supported plan of HBO Max. After promo, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
Hi, I'm Aaron, owner of California Deluxe Windows. Ever notice? When your neighbors get new windows, there is a large black eye of broken stucco, uneven plaster, and even mismatched paint. At California Deluxe Windows, we never leave a ring around the window. Why? Because we are one of the only companies in California who custom crafts every window and door to your home's exact measurements. Almost everyone else on the radio is a distributor. They grab a window from a warehouse, break open your walls, shove it in, and patch things up. At California California Deluxe Windows, we take pride in our work. Our installation technique is so precise, we do not break your stucco. Your house could be covered with potato chips, and we wouldn't crack one.
Call now, and for a limited time, you get 30% off your entire order and 24 months of interest-free financing. 800-874-3600. 800-874-3600. That's 800-874-3600. California Deluxe Windows. Windows engineered for life.
Certain terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 774518.
Alice at 97.3 is celebrating the return of Alice in Winterland. Friday, December 2nd at the SAP Center in San Jose. Starring John Mayer. One Republic.
See you at Alice in Winterland.
Kelsey Ballerini.
Matt Nathanson.
And Lizzie McAlpine. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster. Everything Winterland at radioalice.com.
Hi, are you ready to start the season with savings at IKEA?
Ooh, I am. I've got my 3 shopping lists right here. One for home, one for gifts, and one for treating myself.
We can help you check off all 3 with lots of offers going all week. IKEA family members can save on all kinds of products, from bakeware to holiday lighting to rugs and more.
List number 1, here we go.
Visit IKEA to save today. Offer valid 11/24 to 11/28/22. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store on IKEA-USA.com/Black Friday for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
Universal Studios Hollywood is where the holidays come together. We've tested it. Festive food with refreshing Coca-Cola. Family, friends, and fa-la-la. Dazzling lights cranked up to maximum merriment. The Grinch and his dog Max stealing your tree. All the science adds up. It's the awesomest celebration of the season. Save $20 on a Coca-Cola 2-day general admission ticket. Offer ends 12/14/22. Restrictions apply. Details at universalstudioshollywood.com/Coke offer.
Homeowners are choosing the beauty of Milgard Trinsic Vinyl featured at Dolan's. Narrow frames, the contemporary look, the color choices, perfect white and tan, and an array of custom exterior colors. And that's only the beginning. The innovative Smart Touch window locks exceed California's rigorous forced entry codes plus energy efficiency for comfort. Discover Milgard's vinyl benefits in the Ideas section at dolanlumber.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation and discreet shipping if prescribed. You'll love your results. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
The new Michelin silicone plates last through everything.
On a world record-breaking drive from Alaska to South America in unpredictable conditions.
Thunderstorms, ice storms, they just don't quit.
Rainier Zeidlo chose Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades with advanced Quad-Tech 4-layer coated silicone that repels water, snow, and ice and lasts 2 times longer than other blades.
It's coming down in sheets.
Real world proven. Extreme weather wiping performance. Upgrade to Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades today. Only at Walmart.
Danville mostly clear tonight with a low of 37.
Weather brought to you by Pfizer and BioNTech. This fall, there are now updated COVID-19 booster shots designed for recent Omicron variants. Learn more and schedule your updated booster at vaccines.gov.
Now, back to the Football Hour with Sean Salisbury and Lo Neal on 95.7 The Game.
Yeah, I am with my man Lorenzo Neal, along with Cam and Sterling as well. The show goes so fast. 49ers win 13-0, and I believe that the Steelers are up right now in the first half against the 16-3 with just under a minute to go against Indianapolis in the first half. they are making it miserable on Matt Ryan, and Kenny Pickett's making some throws, and they started off pretty doggone well, looking like more of a Mike Tomlin type team. Yeah, bud, what's up?
Aren't you kind of shocked just with Indy with their defensive front, how the Steelers are able just to push them around and run the ball? I'm really shocked that Indy's played this horrible this year.
Yeah, they I hate to use the word, but you can soft. You can move them around a little bit. You can low, and nobody wants to hear that. But they have been so. Put it this way: when they went into the season, a lot of people thought because they lost to A.J. Brown and what had gone on with Tannehill at the end of last season that the Colts were the favorite on paper. Shaq Leonard gets hurt. Obviously, offensive line Matt Ryan, old Campbell was getting the hell kicked out of him early. They'd have to hang around and try to win games late, in which they did. He gets benched. They went away from Jonathan Taylor for a minute. They got it back. They're trying to establish weapons, but they're not very physical, low. And Jonathan Taylor's not taking over games. They're not moving the pile on either side of the ball, and they're allowing quarterbacks to do their thing without Kenny Pickett hasn't had any trouble moving the ball around on them.
No, he hasn't. And that leads me to this, Sean. So when you're talking about, I know you're talking about the Niners, they're probably the second or third best team in the NFC. When I talked about the strength of schedule and where they are as a team, and think about your two running backs, Mitchell's out for another 6 weeks. Do you bring in another running back? And how good do you see this offensively, a team as offensively? I know they got some unbelievable weapons, but is it together enough for you to say this team is going to go on a run? Do you look at their rest of their schedule? Do you think they? How do you really view them? Because I know you're high on them, but I just kind of want to get inside your head about the makeup, the makeup of this team.
Well, fair question, Lo. They play the Dolphins at home. They're favored, but Dolphins are as good a team as they will have played in a while, and their quarterback is the MVPs of the league are Tua, Mahomes, and Hurts, in whatever order you want to put them right now. Those are the three MVPs in the National Football League right now, and it's not one yet. The other guys' numbers, Tua's numbers are blowing away a lot of the other numbers because they threw 30-plus times in the first half yesterday. So they're doing a lot of things. The Dolphins are a really good team, and Tua's an MVP guy. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, listen, even though they're going to get him at home, and I'm not sure that the 49ers can – that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can block them, Brady's still on that team. They're capable of beating you if you let them get going. They establish the run, right, Lo? But they've gotten away from. I feel like Todd Bowles is coaching. It's the aggressiveness, like defensively, because they'll knock you around, and then offensively, Byron's become pass happy, and I understand maybe he sees some, but when they're at their best, Leonard Fournette's playing downhill football. You and I both know it.
Sure.
So those are two tough games. At Seahawks Thursday night, it'll be a tough one if Geno plays well. We know they've got players. And then they've got the Commanders at home. And I can tell you this, the one team that matches when they're healthy, the down four, it's as nasty a down four as there is in the league. And guess what?
Yeah.
Getting Chase Young back, it's not just four of them, it's five of those cats. They are friggin' filthy up front. And they can if you don't block, you better bring a good supply of body bags because they will maul you at the line of scrimmage defensively. At the Raiders, 49ers favored. The Raiders the last two games have started offensively to pick it up. And then the Cardinals, which I think the Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray thing's about done. I don't think both of them are going to be around for 5 years the way it's going. Talk about soft-minded, prepared, and soft all the way. They're no concern to me. Back to this Dolphins team. Lo, I do like them, and I think we'll find out, when you talk about the Dolphins, how they are. Here's what I think about the 49ers, Lo. If you want to know how I honestly feel about, and I'll always tell you the truth, I think their defense is lights out. I wish they were fully healthy, but I think they can stop anybody on the right day. But you don't want to be on the field all day, so the offense will have to make more plays than 13 points. Here's what I think. I don't think the 49ers want to be, and I'm not sure they're capable of it, even though they got weapons, but the injuries that come and go, of being in a shootout in a regular basis with the Cowboys, the Vikings. When the score creeps into the 30s, I don't think they want to live there. I don't, Lo. I'm talking about when the opponent. Now, we say that and you say, well, how's another team going to score 30? If it gets in the 30s, I would not favor the 49ers in a game, right, against a high-powered team. You get my point, Lo? I think if we're watching this thing and this team averages 24 points a game, I think they can win every one of them. Now, here what I tell you. If you keep the doggone Dolphins under 24 points and you score 24, you keep them in the low 20s, you can win the game. Now, that's a tough task. Just like it's going to be a tough task for the Dolphins to score 4 touchdowns. It's tough. Mm-hmm. There's certain teams you say, well, what do you mean, Sean? Of course everybody wants to score 40. Yeah, but there's a comfort level of where you get to it that makes you, where you live. Listen, Brady can throw it 50 times. Kansas City loves to live in those games. The 49ers are built for 24-13 wins. The 49ers are built to win 21-10 and then get ahead of you, run it 40 times and get your ass out of the building and throw it 22, 24, 28 times. They threw it, 30-some times yesterday. They don't want to have to do that. They just don't because, and now Jimmy's turning it into a strength, but when you're going to throw it that much, you need more than 13 points, and the Saints defense played a good football game. But so low, I'm hot on them. And it's hard for me to pick against the team because defense, when you get to January, defense is it becomes even more hyper. You've got to get stops. But if you're asking me, even now they got all these weapons, the question is how are you going to use them when they're healthy to keep up? Because I assure you, even as good as the 49ers defense is, if you ran into them in a Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs are scoring 3 touchdowns. I'm just going to tell you, they're scoring 3 touchdowns on 15 guys somehow, some way. So you got to match that. If you tell me this team averages three touchdowns and a field goal a game, I'm not sure they lose another game the rest of this year in the NFC on their schedule.
And I can understand that, and I totally agree. Offense entertains, and I agree. But defense wins championships. Offense entertains, but defense wins championships. I'm with you, Sean. Same church, same pew. When I look at this team, though, and I'm talking about in the running game, I don't see a team that can show me this year yet that they have established that they're an elite running offense. You're talking about they have to run the ball 30 to 40 times a game. I don't see this team. I don't think the backs are on this team that you're going to be able to tote on a consistent basis 40 totes a game. That's the question that I have for you.
And Lo, you asked me also, should they go out and get one? My question is where. And you make a good point. Where are you going to get another guy that can carry the football for you if he's on the waiver wire? Depending on we know the significance 6-week injury, but with McCaffrey and injury, you've got a couple guys on the shelf right now that are valuable to your team. So with that, I am with you. Do I believe they can line up right now and they're physical enough offensively that they can like Tennessee? Tell you they're going to run it and still do. Is that what you're saying, Lo? The ability to just run it when they want to, no matter what you do. Correct?
Right.
Correct. Right. Okay. No, I don't think I don't think so. And you know what's odd? Although Kyle's committed to the run game and we know he wants to run it.
He is. Yes.
Lo, I don't think he trusts the run game as much as the passing game right now. Do you?
No.
Look at the numbers.
I agree with you.
Look at the numbers. Let me go to Jimmy real quick just to make sure. He threw 37 times in a 13-0 game. They pitched a shutout, and he threw it 37 times. I don't think Kyle normally wants to live there. I just don't, Lo. But it's telling me that even with injuries that he doesn't trust either the backs or the way they coincide with the offensive line. You know how that goes, Lo. The way the mesh. They're simpatico, right? The mesh.
Yes.
Yes. And the physicality. I think that he probably thinks that if we're going to win games against teams like the Dolphins or in the playoffs, because right now the Cowboys can line up and run it, they trust their run game. And if Kellen Moore doesn't, they're going to get beat if he doesn't put trust in the run game. So if you're asking me if I believe the 49ers are built to throw 37 times a game and beat the great teams in the league, my answer to you is no, not right now, which goes back to your original point of you don't think they're physical enough and in the backfield enough to carry it. So it's a dilemma, right, Lo? We know what Kyle wants to do, yet this is the first time since I've known Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco that I feel like he trusts the passing game more than the run game. Agreed? Even though I know he wants to run it. And that's where they are.
But Mitchell, here's the thing. Sean, let's be real. Mitchell's done. Do you think, are you going to risk that young man?
6 to 8, no.
I just think that you brought him back because you needed him. And look what he has already hurt again. that knee.
And Lo,
so
if it is 6
tells
weeks, if it's 6 weeks now, that's the regular season's over. You're going to have a
Right.
hard time getting first. You're not going to be the number one seed unless the Eagles fold up their tent and go home. More than
Right.
likely, you're not going to be the number one seed. So you're going to be playing. I mean, you're talking about in early to mid-January, and we're already about to be in December. By the time he's healthy, it'll be then, and then you got to get him in the flow. Maybe late in January, I guess. But Lo, you got to put it this way: if you're them, you got to count on somebody else. You have to.
True. And I'm going to ask you with McCaffrey, who runs the ball better, him or Mitchell, in between tackles? Not outside. I'm just talking about downhill. Who's a better downhill runner?
If he carried it 25 times a game, you know who it is. It's the guy who's hurt.
Okay. See, you mean you? I'm just taking you. You're being real. That's what I'm telling you. You're in a situation that you are going to have to throw the ball 30 to 40 times a game from here on out. There's not a team on your schedule. Do you think that you don't have to? You see what I'm saying? That's the and now if you think that he can do it, then hey, look, it's okay. I just don't know if he can do it consistently, Jimmy G, with that offensive line, because you got Trent Williams, but you've seen the other tackle has struggled. McGlinchey has struggled. Let's be real. And it's like, okay, are you good enough to be able to sustain this in November, December, and January? And especially, Sean, you know this just better than anyone. December and January you got to be able to run the ball. The weather changes, the element changes. And I just don't know right now because McCaffrey's hurt too. And I'm telling you, you can't just rush that guy. He's a hybrid. You can't get that guy hurt. You can't throw him out there because then your season is done. So you're going to have to try to find a way, maybe this week, to win without McCaffrey too.
Yep. And now the chance if they know they weren't going to play with McCaffrey, that point spread you were talking about diminishes. That goes away quickly. The point spread of 3.5-point favorite that are the 49ers that you thought Miami would be favored. If you're playing without McCaffrey, the Vegas is going to drop that line between you and I both know it, correct? They're going to that line's going to change. But here's another thing with that, Lo. What have I been saying since McCaffrey got there? Well, he's the ability, you mentioned hybrid, can do a lot of stuff. Your most physical runner now is Deebo Samuel. And he may have to tote it with more carries. But I've told you, Lo, that I am the short passing game and extension of the run that I believe what people don't understand, and some do, is McCaffrey and his deployment when he's healthy. I told you that the run thing wasn't the thing I was most excited about.
You did?
I was most excited about getting him. I'd rather have Deebo running in the backfield and McCaffrey running from the slot if I had my choice on inside zones. The physical, I just would, because the McCaffrey passing element got me more pumped up than anything. With him coming here, and then mix in 8 to 12 to 15 touches a game. That's what got me pumped up. Throw it to him 10, 12 times. I think he can do more damage there. That's just me, but I know they want the ball in his hand. But you can't risk going out there at 80% if he is and saying, man, because you're going to need him for the haul. Yet every game's important because they don't have they're the number 3 seed in the NFC right now because they're the division leader, and then the South's division blows, so that's number 4. Right. So they're the 3 seed right now. But if they're going to get where they want to go, if McCaffrey has to be on the field in January, he absolutely has to be. Right. So I don't know what you do, Lo. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know Melvin Gordon's out there, but that ball's on the ground too much for that. That's not for me. Thank you. I don't know what you do. I don't know where you go to find a guy that can come in and learn the system and give you what you want, which now, Lo, what does that do? Shifts more pressure to Jimmy Garoppolo, right?
To Jimmy, yeah.
Shifts more pressure in the passing game. So then the question is, how do you combat that now going forward? I just don't want 37 to 40 passes for me, knowing what the 49ers, what their identity is. I don't think you want to live there, although Jimmy's playing good football. Don't misunderstand me. But again, it gets back to the common play that he's going to have to make that he sometimes misses when it's a wide open throw in an end zone or a wheel route.
And I agree with you, Sean. And that's a question to me. To another question to you is, if you know you're not running the ball and you know that that's the Niner staple, and now teams know that you got banged up guys and you're not running the ball, so now those guys are going to pin their ears back. Is the offensive line good enough? when you got the Commanders and you got the teams that have, you've seen the Saints. Yeah, I'm not saying their defensive line is not good because the Saints have a good defense and a good defensive front. But if you look at the schedule, and now if you're saying your team is not going to run the ball, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think the Niners run the ball less than, if you told me what's over under, I'm going to say under 30. I'm saying under 30 because you don't have your weapons. So you're not running the ball 40 times. I'm sorry. So now you're talking about a defense now how good is your offensive line? When you don't have, you saw yesterday with the inability to run the ball, Jimmy G took a beating. It was like watching a heavyweight fighter, and he kept getting up and he kept punching.
Body blows.
Jimmy G showed me that heart yesterday, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and Lo, you make a point too. There's a couple different levels to this, as you're exactly right about. I just want folks to understand it's as good as the 49ers are. When the Washington Commanders come to town, as we've talked about, up front, the physicality of it, if you got to throw every down, trouble. And you're not going to move them very much in the run game. That is the strength of their football team, and it may be the best 5 in the league combined. Matter of fact, not maybe, it is. It's the best.
Agreed.
It's the best guys with their hand in the dirt, depth-wise, and production of anybody in the league. That doesn't mean that there's other players like a Bosa that's not better than all of. But I'm talking about it combined. That's the best group. And Jack will be Del Rio will be aggressive. And then the other side, Lo, is, and I mentioned the pressure it puts on Jimmy to have to throw more, especially if you're getting beat on first down and it's 2nd and 9 and 3rd and 7, right? Is they pin their ears back, which puts us. Then now the pressure shifts to offensive line protection to keep people off his body, because you sure as hell don't want to lose Jimmy Garoppolo, and you don't want him taking hits, which also goes to this, Lo. Think about if you're the 49ers now, defense, and you're DeMeco Ryans, and you're thinking, okay, we won 13-0. We were fortunate. We got some stops and forced some turnovers that we know how to play, and we're number 1 in all these categories. But if we're not going to score 3 touchdowns in a game, Lo, you know this. You've been on good defensive teams with great defenses. Imagine having to go in there and say, you mean we got to pitch it to fit? We got to keep a team to 15, 14 points every week to win? So it's even more pressure on an already good defense. My point is, everything stems from physicality in the run game that the 49ers want to do. And for you, the offensive line and the run game are the 2 weak points on the football team right now.
Amen. That's I'm glad you're starting to see. That's all I'm saying. I think that your offensive line is suspect, but when you can run the ball, then, hey, look, now those guys, you can go play action, you could do certain things, and the defense don't have to pin their ears back. But now you're in a situation where you don't have a threat of running the ball with consistency. Defenses can be a lot more free, and you don't have a quarterback that can necessarily move the pocket. I'm telling you, you got to go a heavy dose of Debo. But if I'm the Niners, I look at what the Chargers do with Eckler. And I've turned Debo into like an Eckler, meaning that he's in the backfield, boots away, and now screen. Get 2 linemen up to go to the right, to the left, rather, with him.
Move that screen. Right.
Exactly. Let him get it, and now he can beat a person. You got to do more of that. It's like a toss. This team has to find a way to get this guy in space, get these guys in space. But right now, if you don't have your best 2 running backs, and you saw it, if he's hurt McCaffrey, you're not going to play him. So who is going to be the bell cow on Sunday?
It's Debo. It has to be. It's not an option. It has to be. So with that, Mike McDaniel comes to town, who knows the 49ers, and obviously he and Kyle could probably finish each other's sentences, right?
Sure.
So if you're Mike McDaniel, knowing what you know about the 49ers defense, you love to throw it, you love to get guys in space. Your quarterback the ball comes up and out quickly and on time. What do you think Mike's expecting for his team? What kind of game plan do you have when you're the best? When your offense is scoring at a rapid clip, and you're playing the best defense, and you know that DeMeco Ryans, you know his MO, and DeMeco knows what Mike wants to do. He wants to throw. So if you're Mike, what do you do? How do you combat this? What do you do?
If I'm Mike McDaniels and I'm saying, well, I'm playing a team that I know them like the back of my hand, I'm not letting Kittle beat me. I'm saying, look, guys, I want Kittle to be a non-factor because he is the guy that they're letting, he's a forgotten guy, and I'm putting 8 guys in the box, and I'm saying, I dare Debo to be a lineup at tailback, and I'm going to say, okay, Brandon Ayuk, go beat me, but Jimmy, you got to beat me. I'm making Jimmy G. This is a game. I'm Miami Dolphins. I'm like, look, guys, I know Jimmy. If we got guys in the box and we can put pressure on him and get around his feet, he will throw the ball to you. He will get you guys up front is going to be one in the trenches. This game is going to be one. So we're going to make Jimmy G. So you're asking me if I'm the coach from the Miami Dolphins? Jimmy G has to beat me this week.
Are we going to find out just how much respect Mike McDaniel football team has for the San Francisco 49ers passing game? Are we going to find out this week and see how much respect he has for Jimmy?
Yes, single high coverage. They're going to put 8 guys and dare him to run it. They're going to double Kittle, bracket Debo at times, double Kittle. And Aiku's going to have a big game. And Jennings. I love Jennings. That guy, he plays with heart. But I'm telling you right now, they are not going to let Kittle beat them and Debo. That is going to be those are the two guys for me.
Okay, Lo, with the couple minutes we have left, we got 2 minutes. I got to ask you. Let's reverse it now. If you're DeMeco Ryans, do you have the nerve, and I know he's got nerve, I love him, to play man coverage on a quarterback who's completing around, whose accuracy's through the roof, who gets rid of the football, who isn't going to try to take many sacks, and who's got unbelievable team speed and space? They create so much space for Waddle and Hill and that group. Do you make Tua beat zone, or do you blitz him and play man?
Oh, I make him beat zone. And not only that, I make him beat zone. I do not sit and play man-to-man. They got
you don't want to give up the home run is what you're saying, right, Lo?
Give up the home run.
Keep everything in front of you.
Yes, and I'm a spy, and I'm going to put a spy at times on the quarterback. I'm going to say, look, you spying because he can hurt you. What does the Niners struggle with? Mobile quarterbacks. You got a guy in Tua, he can hurt you with his legs as well. You see him in the pocket. He can create things. And is that going to wear the defense down? That's why this offense has to show some type of sustainability. You cannot just keep putting your defense out there and saying, put your hands up. We got to keep punching. That's a fight. If I just put my hands down, Sean, and let you just keep welling on me, guess what? You're going to knock me out. And that's what the defense happens to the defense. Constantly keep them out there, and you don't get enough some sustained drives, you're going to wear your defense out because they're going to take too many punches, and guys are going to go down. That's just football.
Man, this is going to be talked about a lot all week long, and I can't wait for it. This is going to be a must-watch TV and must-watch in the stadium, worth the price of admission, and I cannot wait to see. We're going to find out, is it offense or is it defense right now? This in what by then will be in December, so I can't wait to see it. And Lo, by the way, on the way out, my Trojans, take care of your business. Yeah, that's right. Caleb Williams, Heisman Trophy. Take care of Utah and Vegas, and we are on our way to the Final friggin' Four in Lincoln Riley's first year. And, oh, by the way, Caleb Williams is an alien, okay? That dude is so talented.
They slapped Notre Dame. They slapped Notre Dame around.
And I was here for every ounce of it, brother. And I cannot wait. Now, Utah's good, and Kyle, they're physical, and they concern me. But we get a chance to get revenge on the 1-point loss. This is going to be a blast. Michigan should be ranked 1, Georgia 2, TCU 3, Southern Cal 4. Maybe it changes, but going into this weekend, Trojans and all you 49er Trojan fans up in the up in Northern California, fight on, baby. Here we go. And the Heisman Trophy, another one's going to Heritage Hall in Los Angeles at USC with Caleb Williams. Lo, great stuff. Cam, great stuff. Sterling, we appreciate you. Lo, I love you, brother. I'm glad you had a great Halloween. We'll do it again next week, and I cannot wait to see this game this week. Same for you, brother. Have a great one, and I'll look forward to next week. It's 95.7 The Game. This is the Football Hour. We'll be back next Monday. Dan Devone, Alan Stiles up next on 95.7 The Game. They're going to get you up on all of it. What's up next? It's them, and it's brought to you by Fremont Bank. Full-service banking, no compromises. For Lo, I'm Sean, and for Cam and Sterling, it's 95.7 The Game. We'll see you next Monday.